G'day guys, welcome to this week's weekly outlook. So first things first, we have to take a look at the economic calendar. The economic calendar acts as a guideline and it really shows us where the volatility will pick up for the week. And we can pretty much try to profile the market in a sense of trying to understand where the highs and lows of the week may potentially form, and then we will obviously take a look in real time at the technical analysis or technical levels that really present itself in line with these economic releases, right? So just an interesting stat for you guys. We know that the highs and lows of the week form around 70% of the time on a Tuesday and a Wednesday if there is a USD red folder news event and price action shows SMT. Alright, so that's just an interesting stat that you guys can track. It is really high quality and it really offers a lot of value. So nonetheless, let's get right into it. Monday, Tuesday, no red folder news events. Then we have PPI on Wednesday, so I would potentially say Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This will be the high probability trading days where you really want to look for your setups. We can kind of already anticipate Tuesday, Wednesday to form lows of the week for the majors, and that is something that I have this idea in my mind right now, right? But we will obviously have price action confirm if that is truly the case. But it happens so often that it just automatically comes into mind. Tuesday, Wednesday low of the week for the majors, and then we will take a look at the euro refinancing rate, the monetary policy. I think this is really important for the euro this week, but nonetheless, it still remains Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday the high probability trading days. Unemployment claims and CPI coming out at the same time really act as one event. So it doesn't matter if it's unemployment claims or CPI or whatever the case may be. If it's at the same time, it acts as one event in my opinion. Okay. And then on Friday we should cap the weekly range with this and potentially trade back in the range in the form of a TGIF if that may be the case. Or if the higher time frame draw is still open, this would potentially take us right into the target, and that should cap the weekly range at least at that point. Alright guys, so let's take a quick look at Dixie, right? So not much to say about Dixie in all honesty, simply that I would like to see how the market reacts around this inverse fair value gap, right? We can see the market took sell stops down here, right? Kind of closing back in the range, but I do not see this as a trend reversal just yet. I think there's very little to none supporting evidence at this stage that this would be a reversal point. So for me personally, I would rather focus on this range and look to see if the market would potentially give us something that could potentially support lower prices. Maybe something like a consolidation in here, new manipulation, AMD power of 3, something like this, guys, towards the lows that we have been looking for quite a while. I think that the market is kind of ranging right here, right? But I'm truly looking for a breakout, and I was actually expecting the breakout to come with NFB, but nonetheless, it really doesn't change us too much for us. Simply that I would like to see how the market behaves on Monday, Tuesday around this key level for me. This is very important, and this would really give us insights into what is to come on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, alright? In terms of a technical level, this is really important. If we take a quick look at the bonds, right, we don't have to get super detailed about this, but if we take a look at the high time frames, we can see this market has been trading at discounted prices for quite some time, a couple of years, right? And we can officially see that this market is really trying or looking like it is trying to reach higher for these highs and ultimately potentially this one there. So I'm definitely bullish on the bonds. We can see there's no indication just yet of a sell-off. So we just have to stay in line with the order flow and actually look for higher prices on these levels, right? This potentially reaching higher, this could definitely be reaching higher, right? And then we can see the 30-year has seen a really good strong expansion last week, right? Especially on Friday, reaching higher for these highs, and we have this high over here and that high over there, and on the lower time frames we have this clean inefficiency in here. I really think this market would want to reach for these highs and that inefficiency over there. So with the bonds being bullish and the idea is just to see bullish price delivery on the bonds, we can automatically kind of assume that we would want to see bullish price action for the euro, right? Bullish price action for the pound. So we've had SMT here last week between euro and pound. Right, SMT is present here. The market has accumulated on top of this OB, and that has really supported price higher. There was a lack of displacement here, right? I like the initial reaction on NFP last week. However, I would have really preferred a market close through this high, but nonetheless, it really doesn't change too much. As long as the bonds indicate bullish price delivery, then the foreign currencies should really not have a hard time following. And then here on the pound, we've seen a nice run on sell stops trading into this inefficiency, a really strong reaction from here, and we have fully closed through this inverse fair value gap. So I'm definitely looking for bullish price delivery on the pound too. The pound actually looks a bit stronger than euro, although euro was the stronger instrument. The reaction was kind of weak, where pound really gave a strong reaction from this discount really into the size, right? This has been a much more aggressive move than the euro, in all honesty. So I'm thinking that the pound should remain stronger at least until we reach this relative equalize minor buy stops level, potentially into that in the upcoming week or two. Then let's take a quick look at EG. So EG on the weekly, guys, we can see we traded into the highs over here. The market has really had a difficult time reaching for the internal liquidity down here. So it's pretty much just external, and I want to see the market deliver into internal. If we take a look at this range from the lows to the highs, this is really not in discount. So this should be an easy objective, and the real discount raise this OB right here. So ideally, EG reaches for this lower, and that is why I would rather be a buyer on the pound, because I'm expecting Euro GBP to sell off, right? We can see weak rejection here on the highs. All we need to see is lower time frame confirmation through these lows that the market really wants to reach lower towards this OB and these relative equal lows and the inefficiencies that is lining up with all of this. All right, so that is definitely something that I'm looking for. I'm looking for Euro GBP to sell off this week. And then on the odd, this is actually a really interesting instrument at this stage. I do like odd. I do like the fact that the odd is kind of strong at this stage. This could very well become a propulsion block, right? So this is a propulsion block for bullish price delivery, and ideally the market utilizes this. This should be a mitigation area. This should really be this the launchpad for higher prices in this scenario, and I really want to see odd deliver higher into this for the upcoming week. We have accumulated around this OB, right? So the market traded down into this, and then it's been reaccumulating, and then we've had that displacement candle, or really classic buy day bullish candle on the NFP event, right? So I would really look for confluences around this level on the lower time frame, such as the 4-hour and the 1-hour. I think there's pretty clean and clear levels for us, which overlaps with this. If we take a look at this in the form of a dealing range, let me just do this. If we take a look at this in the form of a dealing range, we can then find there's a nice swing low that is resting in discount. So I would like to see the market order P the sell stops, right? And we want to see bullish price delivery from that in line with this 4-hour inverse level. All right, so that is definitely something that I would look for in this upcoming week. Let me just see if I can refine it on the right side. Yes, so this should really be it. Okay, perfect, something like that. That's perfectly. Still just gonna call this inverse, and this is sell stop. So I'm definitely looking to see if price would potentially trade lower, give us that change in state of delivery, that fair value gap, that unicorn model, if you will. Really just a confirmation and a response from this key level, right? So that is definitely something that I would look forward to. Why is this not updating? There we go. I think it's my internet. But nonetheless, so this is odd. I'm looking for odd longs, and in all honesty, we have SMT with NZD USD on these lows, right? So something that I want you to notice, there's no real SMT in this fashion, right? Look at odd, look at NZD, right? Odd obviously being a lot stronger, but if we take away the weeks for a moment and we just take a look at the bodies of these candles, look at this, right? And look at the NZD. So the NZD is clearly showing SMT here, right? So this is something that I like to use. and we can see this SMT that the SMT is actually present between ORD and NZD. So NZD reached into higher time frame key level, and I would like to see bullish price delivery for this, but I would expect ORD to remain the stronger instrument and to really reach for this high without too much hassles. Okay, so that is what I'm looking for ORD USD. Then let's take a quick look at USD CAD, guys. USD CAD is an interesting instrument. We have this relative equal lows on the weekly, and on the monthly, I would like to see lower price delivery in line with Dixie, especially if we take a look at the weekly arrays that has been supporting price lower. We can see right nice range. This is not in premium, however, it did support price lower, so I would like to use this as a range. Then we have this as a premium array on the weekly time frame, and we can see it has supported price lower multiple times. I think Friday was just a manipulation where the CAD was out of sync with many of the others. Look at USD CHF, aggressive selling, right? Look at USD JPY, selling off too, not as aggressive, but still selling off. So USD CAD, in my opinion, this has really just been a manipulation, and I would like to see that the market utilize this array, right, to really sell off. And should the market really give us that power of two confirmation in this scenario, I think USD CAD shouldn't have a hard time selling off. Even though it's been manipulating in here for a little bit, that is perfectly okay. It could be inducing more retail into longs. However, I will not jump the gun. This is just an idea at this stage. Remember this, guys. We will obviously do live updates to the markets this week. But as of now, if this market would really want to give us that power of two confirmation, I wouldn't have any hard time or an issue selling this market, and this should really become the short-term, intermediate-term, low-risk sell. This is the confirmation, and the up-close candles institutional order flow should really support price lower down towards these lows, and potentially even into this low down here, that monthly equal lows. All right, so this is what I'll be looking for in USD CAD. USD CHF really looks good here, guys. However, I do not like this on the future chart. It doesn't really look too well for me. Let's go to the futures chart. It doesn't look too well for me, right? We've traded into this array. It looks bullies and such, but there's no real, you know, there's no real conviction in this just yet. Potentially, if I see a down close candle and then a up close candle, I wouldn't have a problem with longing this market. I wouldn't have a problem longing this market towards this high and this high over here, right? That is definitely potential because we've had this range and we've already paid sell stops here in a key level, right? It is a discount array, but the fact that there's a lack of displacement in here doesn't look too good, right? I mean, even if Dixie consolidates, usually some of these instruments could still move, right? Like NZD been trading lower, and we've seen pound trading higher from this level, right? So even if the dollar is really consolidating, you could still find some pairs that really show strength and weakness, and CHF just hasn't been one of them. So for that reason, I'll just be a little bit patient with that and look for a double confirmation at least. All right, so that is what I'm looking for on the majors. Then we can take a quick look at silver, guys. Silver and gold is really interesting to me, and my bias has been bearish last week. I want to see the market order pair this lows, swing low, swing high. I want to see this as a key level for the market to really trade below the sell stops down here into this inefficiency, and I would really like to see the market do so. If the market reached this point, I would look for potential buying opportunities for new highs, but as of now, I don't want to buy the all-time high. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just not a good opportunity. We have SMT between gold and silver on these highs, so there's definitely more reason for me to believe that this market could potentially sell off. If we take a look at the gold silver chart, if we take a quick look at the gold silver chart, this is kind of nice to see actually. We can see the market has been selling off, right? The market trading into this lows down here, right? So sell stops has been neutralized down here, and I would like to see that all of this low resistant liquidity, this could potentially become a easy run higher for gold, where gold would really become stronger than silver for a little bit, and I'm really just waiting for the market to really confirm that in the form of a CSD, give us a potential low risk buy this week. This would really give us CSD short term. It's crouching before the array, right? Then we have this intermediate term low, which is interacting with the array, and this should really be the low risk buy, and ultimately we can position ourselves either in long somewhere in here in the upcoming week or somewhere here. And this would really, if the gold chart really becomes stronger than the silver chart, right? If gold really becomes stronger than silver, I think it would be really easy for silver to at least reach this level, right? It could even potentially reach a bit lower for this, as in all honesty, this is truly the right range. If I see it on the daily, the weekly, that's still fine. No worries. 4 hour. Yeah, on the 4 hour, I can definitely use that range. I mean, it's just relevant the CSD to place there. So I don't want to confuse you guys with advanced ranges, but nonetheless, this is ultimately the easiest way to potentially look at it. This is definitely a high probability draw, but the market could potentially even reach for the sell stops down here. It's really a possibility. It's resting in discount, and I'm not saying I'm gonna trade it down here per se, but at least I'm not buying the market at an all-time high. It's just not for me. Then let's take a quick look at US 100, guys. On the US 100 chart, we have a similar thing taking place, right? We can see this extreme rally over the past couple of months since April earlier this year. I believe we've all made a healthy chunk of profits in here, but nonetheless, all good. The trend is your friend until the bend at the end, right? It's just a saying. And I think this is the bend at the end, guys. I do not want to buy the all-time highs. I'm been pretty transparent about it. And for now, I really want to see the market trade lower into this inefficiencies down here, at least back into fair value, right? So I know this is kind of efficiently delivered because we've had buy side, sell side over and over, right? So this, if in essence, is an efficiently traded range, but nonetheless, I would like to see the market run out this lows, at least stop out the retail that is in here, and that should really offer some nice buying opportunities for us moving forward. We can see SMT, right, with US 500 on the highs. We'll get to that in a moment. So all I really want to see here is I want to see this change in state of delivery and nice breaker blocks getting formed here. If we get our breaker block and our change in state of delivery, I wouldn't have an issue selling the market into this equal lows and then even swinging potentially into this. I don't have an issue with that at all. I would actually like it. Same thing here, guys. We can see this is running highs out for the third time. This could potentially be the ICT 3 drives pattern, right? All I need to see is I need to see a change in state of delivery that really confirms that this market could potentially turn its hand and show us that it wants to go lower, and I would like to short this market into this relative equal lows. So that is that for the weekly outlook, guys. This is everything on my radar that I'm looking for. I'm really interested in odd, and we could potentially see that the market would give us the confirmations as soon as Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? So that is ideally where I will look for my trading opportunities. Ideally, we wait for Wednesday to really confirm that Tuesday, Wednesday is low of the week, right? So ideally, we wait for Tuesday or Wednesday, and that is what I would look for this week, guys. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Any questions, do let me know. We can talk about it.